Hello. Yes, it's me, Audrey Alvarez. But today, I'm not the woman you think you know. No more hiding. No more pretending. This isn't just about the wedding invitation that landed in my inbox, no. This is about everything I've fought for. This is about reclaiming a life they tried to steal from me. Because I'm done being the one who gets pushed aside. Today, I'm making them pay. It buzzes. Again. For the third time in the last minute. My phone, sitting on the coffee table, vibrates against the polished wood. I want to ignore it. I'm tired, so tired. It's been a long day at work, and I just want a moment of silence. I pour myself a glass of Cabernet, the rich, red liquid swirls around in the glass like it's mocking me. I take a sip. Still, the phone buzzes. I glance over at it, hesitating. The name on the screen makes my stomach tighten, Garrett. My ex-husband. The man who left me. The man who married my sister. The man who didn't even have the decency to reach out in any way other than this. I don't answer. Not yet. The phone continues to buzz, so I finally drag myself off the couch and pick it up. I swipe the screen, expecting some mundane, impersonal message. But instead, I see it, a wedding invitation. A simple, cleanly typed message in black letters on a white background. Garrett and Callista invite you to their wedding. Please join us on June 15th. June 15th. My chest constricts. That date, our anniversary. The day we were married. Of course, he picked that day for his wedding. And of course, he invited me. Not out of any real desire to have me there, but out of obligation, out of guilt perhaps. Or maybe it was his twisted way of showing me how insignificant I've become in his life. His note is cold. No hard feelings, it says. I hope you can make it. I blink, but the words don't go away. They just hang there, suspended in the air, like a bad memory I can't shake. I can feel the heat of the tears that are threatening to fall, but I don't let them. I put the phone down and let out a long breath, trying to shake it off. But I can't. I can't shake the disbelief that my ex-husband, a man who once shared a life with me, who was supposed to be my partner, is marrying my sister. And the worst part? He's asking me to watch. To witness the end of something that never got closure. The thought of being in the same room as them, watching them say vows to each other, makes my skin crawl. It feels like the invitation is just another piece of the puzzle, another sign that I've been erased. And not just from their lives, but from the family we once had. I can feel the weight of everything, the years we spent together, the dreams we built, and the quiet loneliness I now carry. I was never meant to be part of their story anymore. I don't pick the phone back up. I just stare at it. I can almost hear his voice in my head. It's fine, Audrey. It's just a wedding. He'd say that, wouldn't he? He would say it like it's nothing, like the day doesn't carry the weight of years of history. He'd say it because he's already moved on. He always was better at moving on than I was. I take another sip of wine. The warmth settles in my chest, but it doesn't bring comfort. I should feel relieved, I think. He's moved on. Why should I care? Why should I care if he's getting married, if he's going to spend the rest of his life with my sister? What does it matter to me? It shouldn't. But it does. The sting is still there. The betrayal, the rejection, it's all still there. And suddenly, I feel as though I'm drowning in the weight of it all. I reach for my phone again. I swipe through the message, rereading it. Maybe I should just delete it. Act like it never happened. But I can't. I need to know. I need to understand why. Why now? Why me? Why invite me to watch the life we had together be replaced by someone else? The more I think about it, the angrier I get. The betrayal starts to settle in my bones, heavy and cold, and the wine no longer feels like it's helping. I stare at the invitation one more time. June 15th. I think back to the day we first met, the day we were married. I remember the promises we made, how real it all felt. How naive I was, to think we'd always be together. How could I have been so blind? I sit back against the couch, feeling every inch of the frustration and anger build up inside me. He's moved on. He's building a life with my sister. And here I am, alone. I can feel the heat of my frustration rising in my chest, and then something inside me clicks. I'm done being invisible. I'm done being ignored. For too long, I've let them think I'm just some bystander in my own life. For too long, I've let Garrett, and even my own family, treat me like I don't matter. Like I don't count. Well, they're wrong. No more. The thought hits me with a jolt, and I grab my phone again, my hand steady this time. I open my calendar, scroll to June 15th, and for the first time, I make a decision that's mine and mine alone. I'm going to the wedding. But not like he thinks. Not like the broken woman he wants me to be. Not like the poor ex-wife. No. I'm going to show them exactly what they threw away. And this time, I'm not showing up alone. The twins. Julian. We'll be there. Together. I'm not broken, Garrett, I whisper to the empty room. I'm not broken at all. I set the phone down and look at myself in the reflection from the window. The street lights blink on as the evening sets in, casting long shadows across the room. And for the first time, I feel a strange sense of peace. A sense that I've finally made the choice I need to make. I'm not going to be invisible anymore. I let the phone ring. Twice. Then, it buzzed again. I hesitated, staring at the screen. My mother. After everything, I knew what this call would be about. The same guilt-ridden, excuse-laden conversation I've had countless times before. The one where she brushes me off and makes excuses for Nyla. A part of me wanted to ignore it, but another part, the one that still hoped, maybe naively, that something would change, picked it up. I took a deep breath and hit accept. Hello? My voice felt tired, smaller than it should have been, but I couldn't help it. Audrey, sweetheart, my mother's voice came through, bright and unassuming, as if everything was just normal. I was just thinking about you. How's work? How's everything? How's everything? What a joke. I could feel my teeth clenching as I swallowed my frustration. I stared at the wedding invitation still sitting on the table. How everything was supposed to be normal while the reality of it all was slowly suffocating me. Fine, I replied, biting back the bitterness. Work's good. I'm glad to hear that, darling, she said, her voice still light. Listen, about the wedding. I didn't wait for her to finish. I already knew where this was going. You didn't invite me, did you? I asked, cutting her off. My voice was calm, almost too calm, but the anger simmered beneath the surface. There was a long pause. She must have known I was about to snap. I didn't let her stall. Not this time. Well, Nyla. Felt like you wouldn't be able to come anyway, my mother started, her words trailing off as she tried to figure out how to explain this. She said she didn't want to put any pressure on you with your schedule. And, well, Garrett thought it would be better this way. The words made no sense, and yet, there they were, coming from her mouth, soft and calm as if they were reasonable. Like it was all just so simple. I clenched my fist, the wedding invitation in my hand trembling slightly. Right, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. So, Nyla decides who gets invited and who doesn't. And Garrett, he just goes along with it. As usual. I could hear the sharpness in my own voice now. I couldn't help it. Nyla. She was always the golden child. The one who was perfect in their eyes. Always. No matter what happened, she could do no wrong. She didn't have to fight for attention. She didn't have to prove her worth. And me? I was the responsible one. Always. Sweetheart, it's not like that, my mother said, her tone softening, but I knew the words for what they were, just another excuse. Nyla just, after everything she's been through with Eric and the kids, she's been under so much stress. She needed support, and Garrett thought it'd be best. I couldn't listen to it anymore. The flood of memories crashed over me, and suddenly, all I felt was the old wound, still fresh, still raw. The years of sacrificing for everyone else, always putting them first, and still never getting any recognition. Not even from the people who were supposed to love me. Nyla gets everything, I said, my voice barely above a whisper, but it still stung. She always gets everything. And I'm just supposed to be fine with that. Always. The silence stretched between us. My mother didn't know how to respond to that. How could she? She had spent so many years pretending it wasn't true. You've always been the responsible one, Audrey, she said finally, as if it was some kind of comfort. You know that, right? It's just that you've always been so strong. And Nyla, well, she needs more help. It was the same thing, over and over. The constant refrain of responsibility that was only ever placed on me. I was the one who had to step up. I was the one who had to shoulder everything. And Nyla? She got all the love. All the praise. All the attention. Well, I'm done, I said, my voice now steady, colder than I'd ever intended it to be. I'm done being the responsible one. There it was. The admission. The decision. I said it like it was final, because it was. This wasn't just about not being invited to a wedding anymore. It wasn't even about Garrett marrying my sister. It was about the years of being forgotten while everyone else walked away with everything. And I was left standing in the shadows. I could hear my mother's breath catch on the other end of the line. She was used to me being the one who kept the peace, the one who did what was expected. But I wasn't doing that anymore. "Audrey," she said, her voice softer now, like she was finally realizing the weight of what I'd said. "I never meant for you to feel this way. You know that, right?" I let the words hang in the air for a moment, letting them sink in. The truth I had always been too afraid to face. "I know, Mom," I said quietly. "But it's too late. It's already happened." The line went silent. For once, I wasn't trying to fix anything. I wasn't trying to make her feel better, to smooth things over. This was the moment where everything had to change. Where I had to change. I was done being invisible. "Goodbye, Mom," I said. And without waiting for her response, I hung up. The weight of the silence that followed felt heavier than I expected. There was no immediate relief, no immediate victory. It felt almost like a new kind of loss. But I wasn't going to back down this time. I wasn't going to play the fool anymore. I stared out the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. The cool air from the evening breeze swept through the apartment, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was standing on the edge of something new. Something that wasn't dependent on their approval. Something that was just mine. I was finally ready. The night has settled around me. The soft glow of the city lights twinkle below as I sit by the window, the cool air slipping in through the cracks of the old window frame. I can feel the weight of everything in my chest. My mother's words, her excuses, are still ringing in my head, drowning out the peaceful hum of the city. I take another deep breath and sit still, my gaze fixed on the street below. The memories start to flood in, not as loud as the phone call, but they linger in my mind, swirling in the quiet of the night. The realization that I've been erased, truly, entirely erased, settles like a rock in my stomach. It's like I don't even exist in the narrative of my own life anymore. Not in Garrett's, not in Nyla's, and certainly not in my mother's. I reach for the glass of wine I poured earlier, the taste still fresh on my lips. I swirl the liquid slowly, feeling it move, like my own emotions, back and forth, but unable to settle. I lift the glass to my lips and take a sip, trying to drown the feeling of disappearing in the bitterness of it. I stare at the invitation again, still lying there on the coffee table like some cruel reminder. I feel the heat rise in my face. June 15th. Our anniversary. He picked our day for her wedding. And he had the audacity to invite me. But it wasn't for me. It wasn't out of any kindness. It wasn't because he wanted me there. He didn't want me there. He just wanted to make sure I knew where I stood. I stand up, suddenly overwhelmed by the emptiness of the apartment. My heels click on the hardwood floor as I walk toward the bookshelf, running my fingers across the spines of books, trying to ground myself in something familiar. Something that doesn't feel like it's slipping through my fingers. It's not about the wedding. It's not about him or Tessa. It's about my place in this family, my place in their lives. And for the first time, I realize the truth, I don't have a place anymore. I'm just a footnote in a story that was never really mine. I've been erased. I close my eyes, but the vision of the family photo on the wall, the one from years ago, flashes before me. My younger self, smiling in that picture, surrounded by my family, all of them in their perfect little world. I thought, back then, I belonged. But they were all smiling at me as if I didn't matter. As if my place in the picture wasn't real. It wasn't just Garrett. It wasn't just Nyla. It was them all. My mother, my father, even Callista, though she probably doesn't even know how much her silent actions, her being there, hurt me. I turn away from the bookshelf and walk toward the dining table. I stand there for a moment, just breathing. The weight of the world presses down on me, but instead of feeling it suffocate me, I feel it shift. I'm done. Done with playing the part of the sacrificing sister, the caring daughter. Done with trying to fix things that aren't mine to fix. I grab the invitation off the table and turn it over in my hands. I read the words again. No hard feelings. What a joke. No hard feelings. My breath catches in my throat, and I toss the invitation on the table. It feels heavy, but it's nothing compared to the weight of my next decision. I'm done trying to be invisible. I've played my role for so long, always stepping aside for others. Always making space for everyone else's happiness, but never my own. Not anymore. I can feel the anger bubbling up inside me, and for the first time in years, it feels like a release. Like I've been holding it all in for so long, and now I can finally let it out. I've let Garrett dictate everything for far too long. I've let him walk all over me, let him tear my family apart, and then I've let them all convince me that I was the problem. No more. I grab my phone and open the contacts list. My finger hovers over the name, Julian, and I pause. He's been so patient, always giving me space, understanding when I pulled away. But now, I need him. I need to take control of this. I press the call button. The phone rings. My heart beats louder than the ring. When he picks up, his voice is calm, reassuring, just like always. Hey, Audrey. What's up? Julian, I say, and for the first time, my voice doesn't crack. It's steady. I'm steady. I need your help. There's a long pause. I can hear the slight rustle on the other end, like he's shifting to pay full attention. Anything, he says. You know that. I'm going to the wedding, I say. I'm going to show them exactly what they threw away. And I'm going to do it with you. And the kids. We're going to show up in style. Together. There's another pause, longer this time. But then I hear him, his voice more confident than I expected. I'm in. When do we leave? A part of me wanted to hear doubt in his voice. I wanted to feel the fear, the hesitation I thought I would have. But there's none. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of them, and I'm certainly not afraid of losing control. I make the call, hang up, and take a moment to breathe. I'm not broken. For the first time, I feel powerful, alive in a way I haven't in years. I take one last look out the window, at the city below, at the life that's waiting for me. And I finally understand, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. I'm ready. The hum of the city is a dull noise beneath me, as I sit in the back of the black SUV, staring out the window at the Los Angeles skyline. The lights twinkle as the sun sets, the last of the golden hour spilling across the interior of the car. My fingers are restless, fidgeting with the hem of my dress as I think about what I'm about to do. This is the moment that could change everything. This is the moment when I will no longer be the invisible ex-wife. I will no longer be forgotten. Julian, sitting next to me, glances over, catching the nervous energy in my movements. He gives me a reassuring smile, but I can feel the anxiety building in my chest. This is a big step, one that makes me wonder if I'm really ready for the shift in the power dynamics, not just with Garrett, but within my family. But I have no choice now. The wedding, the invitation, all of it is leading me to this point. I exhale slowly, the cold air rushing into the car as the driver rolls down the window. I need to stay calm. I can't back out now. No matter how much I want to. Hey, Julian says, his voice warm and steady. You're going to be great. They won't know what hit them. His words are comforting, but in my gut, I feel the pressure mounting. The weight of years of feeling small is heavy, but it's nothing compared to the way I've grown in the past few months. I've changed. I don't recognize the woman I was when I first started this journey, but that woman, who was constantly waiting for approval, is gone. I'm stronger now. I can face them. The car pulls up to the entrance of the venue. The sprawling estate in Beverly Hills looms in front of me, shining under the soft light of the evening. The lavish grounds, the well-dressed guests, the soft chatter from the crowd, it all feels so out of reach for me. For so long, I never belonged in places like this. But tonight, I do. Tonight, I take my place. I step out of the SUV, my heels clicking against the pavement. The photographers immediately start snapping pictures, and I hold my head high. The camera flashes are blinding, but I ignore them. This is my moment. I glance back at Julian, who steps out behind me. He's calm, his usual relaxed smile on his face, but I can see the pride in his eyes. He's been by my side through all of this. And I don't think I could have made it this far without him. We begin walking toward the entrance, and I can feel the eyes on me. Guests pause their conversations to look. A few turn their heads, whispering, unsure of what they're seeing. My steps are confident, each one echoing through the air as if the ground beneath me is shifting. My old self, the woman who let others walk all over her, the woman who put everyone else first, is vanishing with every stride. And then I see them. Garrett and Callista. Standing at the entrance, side by side, their faces frozen in shock. Their eyes meet mine, and for a split second, I wonder if they truly realize what's happening. Garrett's face flickers between confusion and discomfort. His smile is thin, strained. I can almost hear his mind working, trying to piece together why I'm here, why I'm dressed in this way, looking so different from the woman he left behind. But I'm not that woman anymore. I stop in front of them, Julian at my side, the twins standing just behind us. Callista shifts her weight, visibly uncomfortable. Her smile is forced, and she fumbles for words. Audrey, she begins, trying to make small talk, but there's tension in her voice. It's good to see you here. I let the silence stretch, my gaze shifting from her to Garrett, whose discomfort is evident. He shifts on his feet, but he can't hide the surprise. He opens his mouth to say something, but I cut him off. I've always been different, Garrett, I say calmly, my voice steady. You just never saw it. His face freezes, but I can see the brief flicker of realization. I don't wait for his response. I don't need to. I don't owe him anything. Callista stammers, trying to regain control of the situation. How are the kids? She asks, her voice slightly shaky. The question feels like a deflection, a way for her to grasp at control, but I'm no longer a part of their little game. I introduce Julian first. This is Julian, I say, giving him a small but confident nod. And these are my children, Emma and Evan. I can feel a subtle shift in the room. The quiet murmur of the guests grows louder, and I know they're all processing what they're seeing. There's a moment of silence, as the guests take in the scene. I'm not just Audrey, the ex-wife anymore. I'm someone different, someone strong. I've built something new, something no one can take from me. Garrett tries to mask his discomfort, but his eyes are wide. He opens his mouth, but the words he wants to say die on his tongue. Finally, he says, I didn't expect this. You look different. I smile, a tight smile, but it's genuine. I've worked hard for this moment. I've always been different, Garrett, I repeat, and this time, my voice holds more weight. You just never bothered to see it. The room has gone quiet, the tension hanging thick in the air. Callista looks away, and I catch her glance toward the other guests, her discomfort visible. She can't play the role of the perfect sister anymore. She can't be the darling that everyone adores, not while I'm here, standing tall, owning my truth. Garrett shifts uncomfortably, his posture rigid. But he can't stop what's happening. The past isn't something he can control anymore. Well, I say, turning to the room, my voice louder now, I'm not here to dwell on the past. This is about the present, and my future. The room shifts, the energy palpable. I am the woman in control now, not Garrett, not Callista, not anyone else. I've claimed my space here. I take one last look at Garrett. The man who took so much from me. The man who tried to make me feel small, invisible. But no more. This isn't about the past anymore, I say softly. This is about what I've built without you. Garrett's expression darkens, and I see the wheels turning in his mind. He doesn't like the way this is going, but it's too late for him to fix it. The damage is done. I had to force myself to sit still. The documents scattered on my desk seemed to mock me, like they already knew the truth I was desperately trying to ignore. The sun had barely begun to rise, casting a soft glow across the papers that covered my workspace. I had been at this for hours, skimming through contracts, invoices, and statements, trying to find something, anything, that would make sense of the mess Garrett had left behind. I should have been asleep. I should have been trying to make myself forget about the mess in my life, but I couldn't. Not when I knew this was bigger than I thought. I sighed, pushing a few stray papers aside, my fingers trembling ever so slightly as I reached for the next batch. That's when I saw it, the line item that would change everything. I stared at the small detail buried deep in a financial statement. Payments from my account, payments I didn't recognize. Several large sums of money transferred to a joint account with Garrett. I blinked, hoping my eyes were playing tricks on me. But as I read through it again, the numbers blurred into something else, the cold sting of betrayal. I couldn't breathe. I pressed my hands against the desk, trying to ground myself, trying to make sense of it all. But the more I looked, the more I uncovered. My family, my so-called family, had been using my finances for years. I felt like I was trapped in a bad dream. There it was. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And for what? Nothing to do with me or my children. Nothing that would ever benefit me. Instead, it was just gone. Swallowed up by some unseen black hole that Garrett had created with his lies. He had spent years convincing me that we were both in this together. But this wasn't just about finances. This was about control. This was about using me. I clenched my jaw, fighting back the tears, but they were there, just below the surface, burning. I thought back to all the times he made me feel guilty for spending money, for even thinking about spending money on myself. He'd always claimed we were struggling, that there was no room for luxuries. Meanwhile, he was lining his own pockets and making sure I'd be stuck footing the bill. I was drowning in the revelation, but something inside me snapped. No more. I couldn't let this go. Not again. Not after everything I had been through. Not when I had sacrificed my happiness for a man who had never once valued me. I stood up suddenly, the chair scraping loudly against the floor. My breath was ragged as I pulled up a new document on my laptop, jotting down the numbers I had found. This wasn't just a mistake. This was deliberate. This was fraud. I was done being invisible. Done with the guilt. Done with the shame. And most of all, I was done with being weak. If I had to fight for my life back, then damn it, I would. The phone buzzed. I glanced down. Garrett. My hand froze. I stared at the screen, my mind racing. Was this the call I had been expecting? Or was he just checking in, trying to seem concerned, pretending to be the nice guy again? I knew it was coming. I'd known for days that eventually, he would try to reach out. He always did. He never liked it when things weren't on his terms. But now, I had the upper hand. I didn't pick up right away. I let it ring. The seconds stretched into eternity. I could feel the tension building in my body. My fingers twitched, and I knew, I had the evidence. Finally, I answered. Hey, I said, my voice steady, but my heart racing in my chest. What's up? There was a pause on the other end. I could hear him inhale sharply, like he was trying to gather himself. He had no idea what was coming. Hey, Audrey. Have you been? Just checking in on you, with everything that's been going on. He sounded like he was playing nice, but I could hear the underlying tension in his voice. I took a breath, my mind already forming the words that would finally change everything. I've been good, actually, I said, my tone firm. Better than I have been in a long time. There was silence on the other end. I could practically hear him processing that. I saw the invitation, by the way, I added, calmly, though my insides were anything but. There was a brief, uncomfortable laugh from Garrett. He always laughed when he was nervous. Yeah. That. I just thought you might want to be a part of things, for the kids. But, I get it. You're busy. He had the nerve to sound casual, but I could tell he was already on edge. No, Garrett, I said, my voice cold. I'm not just busy. I'm done being your charity case. I'm not the woman you left behind. I'm not some consolation prize that you can throw a wedding invite at to make you feel better. His voice dropped a little. Audrey, that's not what this is about. You've got it all wrong. No, I cut him off. I don't have it all wrong. I know exactly what this is. And I know exactly what you did. The weight of my words landed heavily in the air. I could feel it. I had him on the defensive now. He could no longer talk his way out of it. I leaned back against my desk, staring out the window at the palm trees swaying in the breeze. The quiet peace of the evening felt like a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside me. I found it, I said, finally letting the words slip out. I found the account, Garrett. The one you've been hiding all these years. The one you've been funneling money into. My money. The money that should have been for me and the kids. But instead, you used it to pay off your debts and make sure you got to keep your perfect little life. Well, guess what? I'm not gonna let you get away with it anymore. I heard Garrett suck in a breath, his voice suddenly guarded. Audrey, you don't know what you're talking about. No, Garrett, I interrupted, my voice sharp. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen the transactions. I've seen the lies. And I'm not going to let you get away with this. I'm done being the invisible woman you've always kept in the background. I'm done being your victim. There was silence. The kind of silence that screamed volumes. He knew, I could tell. The mask he'd been wearing for so long was slipping. You're not getting away with this, I said, more to myself than to him. I'm going to make sure of it. There was a long pause before he spoke again, his voice quieter. Audrey. You don't have to do this. Just take the settlement. I'll make sure you're well taken care of. We can just forget about all of this. The words stung, but I didn't flinch. I was done. I'm not just doing this for the money, Garrett, I said. I'm doing this because I want my life back. I want the truth to be heard. And if that means fighting you in court, then so be it. Goodbye, Garrett, I said, ending the call before he could say anything else. I stared at the phone in my hand, the silence in the room suddenly feeling deafening. But there was a new sense of clarity inside me. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to fix things. I wasn't trying to make him understand. I wasn't waiting for his apology or his approval. I had already made my decision. I was going to fight back. And I was going to win. I'm sitting at my desk, my fingers frozen above the keyboard. The cursor on my laptop blinks in the silence, mocking me. But I can't seem to move. It's as if my whole body is still reeling from the weight of my last conversation with Garrett. The phone call, the threats, the smooth words he used to try and manipulate me into accepting his deal. He probably thinks I'll cave, that I'll accept his shameful little offer and go away. But I'm done. I'm done listening to his lies, done feeling like I have to make excuses for everything he's done. Done. I take a deep breath, trying to calm the storm brewing inside me. I can feel my heart thudding in my chest. I used to be afraid of moments like this, of confronting people, especially Garrett. For so many years, I let him tell me who I was. I let him make the decisions, tell me what I was worth. I let him be the one to pull all the strings while I stood back and tried to make peace. But not anymore. I sit back in my chair and stare at the wall for a moment, just trying to settle the flurry of thoughts swirling in my mind. I pick up the phone and look at the missed call from Garrett again, the name staring back at me in bold black letters. There was a time when seeing his name on my phone would have made my stomach turn, but now? It feels like just another number on a list of people who've tried to manipulate me. He's not going to control me anymore. I stand up and walk to the window, staring out at the Los Angeles skyline. The sun is just beginning to set, the sky painted in shades of purple and orange. I take in a deep breath, feeling the air cool against my skin. The city feels almost alive, just like I do right now. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm finally taking control of my life. The weight of the past, the years of sacrifice, of never being seen or heard, feels like it's lifting. I turn back to the desk, and the papers, those damn papers, are still there. I have proof now. Proof of everything Garrett's done to me, to my finances, to our family. I have witnesses, I have documents. I have everything I need to make sure he faces the consequences for the damage he's caused. There's no going back now. I've made my decision. And there's nothing he can say or do to change it. I take another breath, steadying myself. There's only one thing left to do. I pick up the phone. The call connects after a few rings, and I can already hear the tension in the silence on the other end. It's just him and me now, face to face, no more hiding behind his lies. He doesn't know it yet, but he's about to learn exactly how far I've come. Hello, Garrett, I say, keeping my voice calm and steady. I have something to say to you. Audrey, he says, sounding too casual. It's almost like he's still trying to keep the upper hand, trying to act like nothing's changed. But I can hear the edge in his voice, the way he knows he's about to lose everything. I know what you've done, I say, my voice cutting through the air. And I'm not letting you get away with it. He pauses for a second, and I can almost hear him struggling to regain control. What are you talking about? His voice is defensive, but I'm not buying it anymore. I've seen the transactions, Garrett. I've seen everything you've done behind my back. All those payments to the joint account. You were stealing from me. I hear him inhale sharply. He's trying to play it cool, but I can tell he's rattled. He doesn't want to acknowledge the truth. He doesn't want to admit that he's been caught. You're mistaken, Audrey, he says, trying to shift the conversation. There's no need for this. You're making a bigger deal out of this than it is. Let's just settle this quietly. I can offer you more if you... I cut him off. I'm done settling, Garrett. I'm done being your pawn. I'm done being your charity case. You don't get to control me anymore. The words come out so easily now. They feel like freedom, each one is a weight lifting off my chest. There's silence on the other end for a few beats, and then his voice cracks slightly. Audrey, you don't have to do this. We can work something out. You're just angry right now. I didn't mean to. Save it, I snap, the sharpness of my words surprising even me. You didn't mean to do what, Garrett? You didn't mean to manipulate me for years? You didn't mean to ruin my life for your benefit? You've been using me all this time, and now that I know the truth, I'm not going to let you off the hook. I take a deep breath. It feels good to say it out loud, but there's still the familiar gnawing feeling of betrayal in my stomach. I don't even know why I thought he would change. Why I kept giving him second chances. I was too blind to see it for so long. You can't keep controlling everything, I say, my voice firm now, no hesitation. I won't play the fool anymore. I'm done with this game. I hear him scoff on the other end, but there's a tremor in his voice. He's scared. For the first time, I can hear it. I have him cornered, and he knows it. He doesn't have any more tricks to play. You're making a huge mistake, he warns, his voice almost pleading now. But I don't let it faze me. I'm done being manipulated. No, Garrett. The mistake was trusting you, I say, and I can hear my own words echo in my head. The truth feels like a shield now. It's my armor. And I'm done. I'm taking back everything. There's a long silence on the other end of the line. I can feel the weight of the moment press in around me. This is it, the final decision. I've made it. I won't be the woman who lets people walk all over her anymore. I won't let my family or Garrett keep me in the shadows. I'm done being invisible, I say quietly, almost to myself. I'm done being the one who always waits for people to see me. I'm taking control of my own life. I hang up the phone without another word, letting the silence take over. The air in the room feels lighter somehow. The weight of everything I've been carrying for years seems to dissipate, and for the first time, I can breathe freely. The path ahead is clear now. And I'm ready to walk it. The night air feels strangely thick as I walk through the ornate doors of the hotel ballroom. The glow of chandeliers hanging overhead, casting a soft light over the polished floors, does nothing to ease the tension coursing through my body. The place is beautiful, beyond beautiful, really, but I feel like an outsider here. I always have, even when I was married to Garrett. But now, it's different. This time, I'm not the one standing in the shadows. This time, I'm the one who's about to take the stage. The guests are arriving, dressed in their finest, their laughter mingling with the clink of glasses. I hear the hum of conversations, the faint echoes of luxury, but none of it reaches me. I don't care about their smiles or their perfect lives. All that matters right now is what I've come here to do. I straighten my shoulders and step forward. Julian is right beside me, his presence a comforting weight in the sea of strangers. His smile is calm, but I know he understands. This is about more than just a wedding. This is about me reclaiming my life. As we enter the ballroom, the buzz of voices dies down for a moment, the air thick with surprise. I can feel every eye in the room flicking toward me. They don't know me. Not really. Not the woman standing here now. The whispers start immediately, quick murmurs of recognition. Is that Audrey? Before they go silent, waiting for something to happen. They think they know me. They think I'm the same woman they once saw in the background, the poor ex-wife, the one who never quite fit in. But tonight, that woman is gone. The woman standing here now is different. The center of the room is where Garrett and Callista are waiting, side by side, the happy couple. For a brief second, I can see the shock in their eyes. I feel it, too. This wasn't the plan. They thought I'd be invisible, unnoticed. No one was supposed to see me like this. Garrett's expression flickers between discomfort and disbelief. His smile is stiff, not genuine, as he stands up to greet me. I've seen this smile 100 times before, the one he puts on when he's trying to hide the truth. The one that hides his manipulation, his guilt. He opens his mouth, probably to say something about the past, about how great it is to see me, but I cut him off before he has the chance. You look different, he says, his voice strained, as if he's trying to make it sound like an innocent comment. But I hear the edge in his tone, the way he's trying to steer the conversation back into his control. I raise an eyebrow. I've always been different, Garrett. You just never saw it. There's a pause, a long one, where I can almost feel the ripple of tension running through the crowd. His smile falters for just a moment, and I can see the truth dawning on him, but he doesn't admit it. He tries to laugh it off, a forced, uncomfortable chuckle. Of course, he says, but it doesn't ring true. I'm not the same woman who stood by his side, silently bearing the weight of our broken marriage. Callista, her eyes wide and flitting between Garrett and me, steps in, her voice tinged with a nervous edge. "It's really good to see you, Audrey. I didn't expect. Well, I didn't think you would come." Her words are laced with discomfort. She doesn't want me here. It's clear. She's playing the part of the gracious wife, but the tension is there, just under the surface. She's trying to figure out how to navigate the shift in the room, the shift in power. I glance at Julian, and he gives me a small nod, as if to say, "You've got this." It's a simple gesture, but it's all I need. I turn back to Callista and meet her eyes with steady resolve. "Well, here I am," I say, not even bothering to hide the coolness in my voice. "I've brought the kids, too. And Julian, of course." I gesture behind me, and the twins step forward. Their faces are calm, composed, just like mine. They've been through so much, but they carry themselves with a confidence that I never had at their age. The room goes silent, the murmurs fading to nothing as the guests take in the new dynamic. The once tiny family unit I was a part of is now reborn, reshaped, and suddenly, I'm standing at the center of it all. Garrett's gaze shifts uncomfortably between me and the twins. I see the flicker of confusion in his eyes. He doesn't know how to react, how to process what's happening. And it feels good. I step forward, my voice louder now, enough for the entire room to hear. "This is no longer about the past, Garrett. This is about what I've built. This is about what I've done on my own, without you, without your control." The words hang in the air, and I can feel the shift. The crowd's whispers grow louder, and for the first time, I feel the power in my hands. This is my story now. I am the one holding the pen. Garrett's face tightens, and I know he's angry. He tries to play it cool, but I can see the fear in his eyes. He's not used to not having control. He's not used to me standing here, daring to take what he thought was his. "Well," he finally says, his voice colder now, "you've certainly made an entrance." Made an entrance? I repeat, a small, humorless smile crossing my lips. "No, Garrett. I've made my statement." There's a long, uncomfortable pause. The tension between us is palpable, and I see the guests look from me to Garrett, waiting to see how this will play out. They're witnessing the fall of the mighty. They're seeing him unravel, and for once, I don't have to hide. The silence breaks when Callista clears her throat, trying to regain control of the situation. But it's too late. The power has already shifted. There's no going back. The mask that Garrett and Callista have been wearing has cracked, and there's no one left to fix it. Not even them. "You're right," I say, my voice cutting through the tension. "This isn't about revenge. It's about taking back what's mine, what's rightfully mine. For me and my kids." I can see the shock in Callista's eyes as she tries to mask her discomfort. Garrett, though, looks like he's just been punched in the gut. His face is pale, and I know that inside, he's scrambling to figure out what to do next. But there's nothing left for him to do. The truth is already out. The courtroom is cold, sterile. I can hear the quiet hum of whispered voices around me, the air thick with anticipation. Everyone's eyes are on the judge, but I can't help but notice how the room seems to close in on me. The walls, the high ceilings, the heavy air of judgment, it all feels like a weight I'm not sure I'm ready for. But I am. I am ready. For too long, I've let this moment sit in the shadows. I've been waiting for it, trying to convince myself that I wasn't strong enough. But now, as I sit here next to my lawyer, the case unfolding in front of me, the nerves start to subside. I look down at my hands, clenched tightly in my lap. I can still feel the phantom sting from when I first found out. The way Garrett's betrayal slithered into my life and tore everything apart. I can feel it all over again, but this time, I'm not weak. The judge, an older man with a calm but sharp demeanor, calls the session to order. The quiet murmurs of the room fade away as the case begins. It's official now. I'm not just fighting for money. I'm fighting for my voice, for the dignity I had stripped away from me. I glance at Garrett, sitting across the room. His face is stone cold, but I can see the flicker of nervousness in his eyes, despite the cool exterior he's trying to maintain. He looks smaller somehow, small and weak in a way I hadn't expected. It's almost comforting. My lawyer rises to present the evidence. The pile of documents, the bank statements, the proof of his deceit. Garrett's lawyer shifts in his seat, preparing for the fight. I can feel the energy in the room change as the case begins to unravel. The truth is coming. It's coming for him. As the presentation unfolds, I sit still, absorbing every word, every moment of it. Garrett's lawyer tries to spin the narrative, claiming that the transactions were all part of a shared family investment, but I see the cracks. His words fall flat, and the room grows more tense with each passing moment. The evidence is undeniable. The numbers don't lie. I remember when Garrett first told me how we had to tighten our belts, how we couldn't afford luxuries, how I had to make do with less, how he controlled the finances, and I accepted it. Like a fool. But no more. I catch my breath as I hear my lawyer speak my name, and it's time for me to stand up. My feet are heavier than I expected, but I push through it, walking toward the witness stand. Every step feels like a declaration. I take my seat, and the air shifts. The world outside this courtroom doesn't matter anymore. This is my moment, and I'm not going to let him take it from me. When the questioning begins, I keep my voice steady, my gaze unwavering. I recount everything, how Garrett made me feel like I was constantly in the wrong, how he belittled me, made me feel guilty for spending money that was mine. How he kept secrets from me, how he used me, how he drained our accounts for his own benefit. My hands are shaking as I speak, but I hold them still, forcing myself to look directly at Garrett as I tell the truth. The truth he tried so hard to cover up. I was the one who took care of everything, I say, my voice stronger than I expected. I was the one who gave everything for this family, and you used me, Garrett. You used my trust. And now, it's time for you to be held accountable. The silence in the room is deafening. Every person here is absorbing the weight of what I've just said. But it's not just for me. It's for anyone who has ever felt like they didn't have the right to stand up for themselves. For anyone who's been made to feel small, invisible, or worthless. I'm not invisible anymore. I take a deep breath as the room shifts. My voice continues, clear and determined. This isn't about revenge. It's about justice. It's about taking back what's mine, for me and my children. As I finish my statement, I see the subtle shift in Garrett's expression. It's no longer a calm mask of indifference. Now, he looks uncomfortable. Unsteady. I see the cracks widening. His bravado has cracked, and he's desperate to fix it, but the truth has already been exposed. His eyes dart nervously to Callista, who's seated beside him, her gaze averted. I can see the discomfort written across her face as well. She never knew the extent of his manipulation. She had no idea how deep it ran. And for the first time, I see the truth settling into her too. The whole family dynamic is shifting, and I am not going to let Garrett control it anymore. Callista stands up, and the room falls silent as she walks toward the stand. I can hear the murmurs begin again as she takes the oath and sits down to testify. She shifts uneasily, but there's something in her that seems different now. She's no longer standing by Garrett's side, silently complicit. She's shifting too. And I know that this is not just a victory for me, but for the truth itself. I didn't know, she says, her voice shaky, but sincere. I didn't know how far Garrett had gone. But I've seen the proof. And I believe Audrey. He manipulated all of us. I didn't know he was taking money, using Audrey like that. I didn't see it. The crowd is still. And Garrett looks like someone just pulled the rug out from under him. The mask is gone. There's no hiding it now. Everyone here knows the truth. They see Garrett for who he is. The judge calls for a recess, and I sit back down, my head spinning. I can feel the rush of emotions, anger, relief, empowerment, filling me. But there's still work to do. This fight isn't over. I look at Julian, who sits beside me, his hand reaching for mine. His warmth calms me, but there's still a weight in my chest. I know what I'm fighting for, but I also know the fight isn't finished yet. This is only the beginning. The recess is brief, and as the judge calls us back into the courtroom, I feel the weight of what's coming. The final verdict will come soon. I step into the courthouse, my heels echoing across the marble floor. The air is thick with tension, the walls heavy with the gravity of the moment. Today, everything comes to a head. All the hours spent preparing, all the sleepless nights, the anger, the fear, today it all culminates. I can feel the eyes on me as I walk through the corridor. There's a subtle shift in the atmosphere when I enter the courtroom, a slight hush as people notice me. No longer the invisible ex-wife, the one who once stayed in the background. No, today, I stand tall, confident, ready to reclaim my life. My lawyer, Sarah, gives me a quiet nod as I take my seat. She's calm, poised. She's been my rock throughout this entire ordeal, but today, it's different. The court is packed, the press in the back, their cameras snapping, their pens scribbling. Everyone knows this trial is about more than just a financial settlement. It's about justice. Truth. The judge enters, and the room goes silent. His stern expression doesn't faze me. I've come this far. Nothing is going to shake me now. As he calls the court to order, I feel the weight of the final decision hanging in the air. Ms. Alvarez, the judge begins, his voice measured, we've reviewed the evidence. We've heard the testimony. He pauses, his eyes scanning the room, making sure everyone understands the importance of this moment. It's time to make a decision. I hold my breath, but I already know the answer. My heart races anyway, the emotions swirling inside me, anger, hope, fear. I've waited for this. I've fought for this. The judge clears his throat. I find the defendant, Garrett Sullivan, guilty of financial manipulation and fraud. The court will award full restitution to Ms. Alvarez, including compensation for damages. I can hardly breathe as the words sink in. Garrett's face pales. He's trying to hold it together, but I see it, the tension in his jaw, the way his eyes shift nervously. This isn't how he thought it would go. This is the moment he's been dreading. I glance at my lawyer, who gives me a subtle smile, and I nod back. We've won. Not just the case, but my dignity. My freedom. Garrett, on the other hand, is a man undone. His arrogance has cracked wide open, and all that's left is the weakness beneath. I can see the sweat forming on his brow, the way he tries to speak, but the words don't come. His lawyer shoots him a frustrated glance, but it's too late. His fate is sealed. Judge, I'd like to propose an alternative settlement, Garrett stammers, his voice unsteady. We can negotiate, I'll pay more, whatever it takes. Just don't make this public. It's a private matter. A family matter. I almost laugh. The nerve of him. After everything, he thinks that's going to work. That his charm is going to fix this. But he's lost. The public is watching now. The world is watching. I stand up, my voice calm but firm as I address the court. This is not just about the money. This is about what's been stolen from me, from my children. This isn't a private matter, Garrett. This is about accountability. You can't run from the truth anymore. I take a deep breath and turn to face the press, who are hanging on every word, the cameras flashing. This victory is not just mine, I continue, my voice carrying through the room. It's for anyone who's ever been made to feel small, invisible, or manipulated by someone they trusted. We all deserve to be seen. We all deserve justice. The words echo in the courtroom. I feel them resonate in my bones. I've spoken my truth, and nothing can take that away from me. The power I've been waiting for has finally been given back to me. It's mine now. Garrett is still in shock, struggling to regain his composure. I can't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He thought he could control this, control me, but I've taken it all back. Then, something unexpected happens. Callista, who has been sitting quietly beside Garrett, stands up. Her face is pale, and I can see the inner turmoil in her eyes. She takes a deep breath, and I can feel the weight of her decision. I have something to say, she begins, her voice trembling slightly. She looks toward Garrett, then back at the judge. I didn't know the full extent of what Garrett has been doing. I've been blind to it. A murmur runs through the courtroom as people process her words. I see Garrett's face darken with anger, but Callista doesn't back down. She's looking at him now with something I hadn't expected, disappointment. I've been complicit, she continues, her voice stronger now. And I can't continue to stand by while he manipulates everything and everyone around him. I can't help but feel a surge of vindication. This isn't just about me anymore. This is about everyone Garrett has hurt, everyone who's been under his control. The emotional weight of it all makes my head spin, but in the best way. I've never felt so alive, so in control of my own life. The judge calls for a brief recess, and I step down from the stand, my heart racing. I feel like I've just climbed a mountain and now I can see the clear sky. Garrett can't hide anymore. The truth is out, and it's only a matter of time before he's forced to face it. I look around the room at the people who have been watching. The press. The family. The spectators. They know now. They know who Garrett Sullivan really is. I turn to Julian, who's been watching from the back of the room. His eyes meet mine, filled with pride. And I know, in that moment, that whatever happens next, we're in this together. As the story comes to a close, remember this: sometimes, the hardest battles we face are the ones we fight within ourselves. But in the end, it's not about what others take from us, it's about how we take back our own lives. Audrey's journey shows us that true power lies in standing up for yourself, even when the odds are stacked against you. No one can erase you unless you let them. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to reclaim your power? Share your thoughts below, I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you never miss a story of strength, resilience,